no matter whether you're an anime only or a manga reader, I feel like you've all heard of the JJK character known as Potential Man. He also goes by the names of Fraud, or Bum, or sometimes Megumi. Now, I'm going to put my hands up and say yes, normally I am very much on that Megumi hate bandwagon. However, when Season 3 started airing, I also put my hands up and said, I'm going to have to admit that, yeah, Megumi absolutely cooks in the culling games. Gege was, I don't know what he was smoking when he wrote Megumi's colony fight, and goddamn, did storyboarder Shota Goshizono, yes, Goso Cinema, again this episode, its peak, and also episode director Ichikawa absolutely just elevated Gege's vision for Megumi, and wow, they made this episode unnecessarily beautiful, but also, Megumi isn't even really the highlight. I was expecting to talk about that guy for ages when this episode came out, but nah, there's someone else. There's someone else who just stole the whole show. Takaba. Oh my god. I'm gonna get onto that later, actually. Do you know what? I'm gonna save it because I feel like what I have to say about Takaba needs everybody's utmost attention, including my own, so we'll let that sit. Anyway, this episode, now, I'm gonna just say this, I feel like it was a lower priority episode compared to the others. I don't think anything ridiculous happened, but obviously because it's JJK, the standard is already way higher than normal, so the moments that look really good still look really good, and the overall, general direction and art throughout the episode is just, it's so beautiful. So the episode begins with Reggie and Megumi picking up their conversation from episode 8. I'm not going to kind of rehash what they talk about because, watch the show, guys, you should know this by now. But a detail I really like in this conversation is that Megumi tells Reggie that a rule allowing the transfer of points will soon be added, which basically means that Megumi has absolute unyielding faith that Yuji will add that rule. And sure enough, shortly later, the rule is added and Megumi goes, okay, cool, Yuji did it, as expected, I can lock in and just kill these guys now if I need to, no need to hold back. Which is great, because it just shows how much Megumi has, unyielding faith in Yuji. Anyway, when Reggie realizes he's not going to get Megumi onto his team, which is done through a sequence of basically just still shots at the beginning of the episode, I feel like there was a lot of time saving, which is why I say it is possibly a lower priority episode. But then Chizuru Hari, who is this NPC burger bot sorcerer, comes running at Megumi, but he is not on that guy's level, bro. Megumi dips into the shadows, over the shoulder, and dashes that man off the balcony. I'm talking, he launches that dude, bro. Like, in the manga, he kind of, pushes him over the railing, but nah. In the anime, Goso was like, nah, we're gonna have him throw him to the next city, bro. Like, cool, I guess. I don't know how he survived that, but cool. And then Hazunoki's eyeball drops and explodes in this weird kind of Demon Slayer style 3D explosion, which at first I was like, that kind of looks weird, but it grew on me, I'm not gonna lie, I like it, and I especially like that slow-mo shot of the explosion creeping round the doorframe. And then, of course, Megumi and Remy have their little talk, and oh my god, they made Remy look so disgusting, groveling on the floor. She's preaching to the choir here, man, because this is Megumi. He don't care. He just called her scum and trash and said she should, piss off, which I kind of respect. But then that Chizuru Hari guy came in, and I watched what they did with this fight between Hari and Megumi, and I just thought, yeah, Goso has to be rage baiting us, bro. Like, what are we doing here? This has to be engagement bait, because in the manga, alright, this is not close. Megumi just destroys that guy, 2 or 3 panels, kicks him in the face nonchalantly, doesn't even break a sweat, Max Elephant out the building, and then whams a sword right into his head. But nah, in the anime, what we're having is this, again, what I think is probably rotoscoped, amazing shot of, Megumi kind of walking out to face Hari. He sizes him up with the sword, backs up into the room behind him, and then just looks like he gets a bit lazy, bro. Like, why are we making Megumi look like a fraud here? What are we doing? This is why I'm saying it has to be rage bait, bro. Well, what do you mean the guy who's supposedly really good in hand-to-hand and weapons combat just got the sword immediately kicked out of his hand and then booted into a wall, only to then fall back on using his Shikigami to save his ass and kick Hari out of the building? Listen, it all looks dope, okay? It looks great, and I appreciate fight extensions. I'm not complaining in that respect, but bro, this does nothing for the Megumi agenda, bro. Alright, this guy gets slandered enough. Why are we having this random NPC put hands on him? Oh, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. Gosh, Ozono, why? Something I do really appreciate, though, from the animator team is that they did not censor this episode one bit. Bro, Megumi still walks up to Hari on the ground and just, it's like a one-to-one, because I know you guys love your one-to-one moments. Sword slices straight through his head like a watermelon. Mwah, beautiful. Reggie and Hazunoki then do their little Mary Poppins thing down to the ground. The rule gets added, Megumi's now like, cool, I don't need to hold back, I can just fight these guys or run away. And then Hazunoki spits a tooth in this really cool shot, to be honest. Spits a tooth at Megumi that gets intercepted by the f***ing goat. The absolute, he's so good. Killed it in this episode, and just, it's, okay, right, I had to cut out a big section there because I started yapping. I was really worried that they were going to fumble the execution of Takaba because obviously comedy is a delicate thing. But no, they basically killed two birds with one stone. They made him unironically, genuinely hilarious, but they also utilized this character as a time-saving technique to lower the workload of making the episode, because when he dropped his 0 damage bar, they let that moment play out in complete silence for 40 flipping seconds. I counted, it was 40 seconds. Bro, he just stands there and wastes a whole minute of the episode, bleeding from his head, smiling, with Megumi like, I love the way he just shifts awkwardly in the background. And even Reggie and Hazunoki start like shifting awkwardly because it's uncomfortable, you know? He's just said this ridiculously unfunny thing and just standing there like a dumbass. It's done so well, bro. I can't. And then of course the Wi-Fi bar. Oh my god, the Wi-Fi line was executed to perfection. He sounds so funny. In the manga, the joke is, you know, if you read TCB, it's actually none of your busynet, like biznet, like business. But in the Japanese, it translates directly to Wi-Fi, which is why the joke might not land and it might just sound funny to you. I don't know why I'm explaining this, no one fucking cares. And just like in the manga, they had to censor that shot of his ball falling out of his costume, but if you actually watch very carefully in the anime, as he turns around after that shot, you can see his literally like shift in his underwear. It's so funny. And when he goes to dropkick Hazunoki, there's these dumbass cartoon sound effects, and they do it from like 4 different angles. It's so cliche and stupid, I love it. I feel like I'm watching Tom and Jerry, bruv, it's great. Actually, just the whole episode has this really unserious, goofy, colorful, and vibrant, very cartoonish feel to it, which is something that I feel like couldn't be portrayed as well in the manga, because obviously in the manga, you know, it's black and white. You don't have this kind of contrast. You don't have voice acting. You don't have music. But the anime episode really elevated what Gege wrote by really drawing on the contrast of you have this dark and gloomy, edgy teen like Megumi, and the rest of the things going on around him, whether it be the scenery, whether it be Reggie, whether it be Takaba, are just all colorful and vibrant and flamboyant and goofy. I love it. Because realistically, Takaba and Reggie are just both goofy as shit, bro. Reggie's out here with his hobbit feet, he's built like a truck, he's wearing a dress of receipts. Man, the way he just pulls out that rinky-dinky little cyan blue moped later on is so dumb. It's like watching Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you know, get on a e-scooter. It's just, it doesn't make sense, bro. Nothing about this episode makes any sense other than Megumi. He's like the most realistic part of the episode, but it's dope. It's such a good contrast, and I feel like they really go all in and bring it to life in this episode. I'm actually really struggling to put into words how I'm finding this. I don't know, the Takaba thing is just hilarious. Like the way he does his own ad-libs and the sound effects that he makes, like just the little noises. I don't know what Takaba's voice actor was smoking, bro. They gave him some crazy drugs, locked him in the recording booth and just said, do your thing. I don't know, he was cooking, it was sick. And then, as if that isn't cool enough, we go back to the, you know, Megumi and Reggie stuff, where instead of just having the conversation about Reggie's curse technique on the street then and there, like they do in the manga, there's this massive anime-only chase scene where Reggie's, like, running down the scaffolding, dodging Nue's lightning, and again, I just want to say it's rotoscoped, even though it might not be, because it looks that damn good. And then you had Reggie using his technique, which is great, because I do feel like in the manga, he didn't really use it to full effect, and it's nice just to have this anime-only sequence, you know, storyboarded by the GOAT himself, where we get to see Reggie's technique used in a much more versatile way. Bro, he was like summoning giant plushies to cushion his fall. He was doing this weird thing where he was putting like rock climbing things on the wall to help him run on the wall or something. And then later on, he just drops a whole ass piano on Megumi in an alleyway. It's just dope. But the action sequence of them running around the city is just generally sick. Like, Megumi looks dope as well. Him summoning Max Elephant out of the building was really, really cool, actually. I really like that moment specifically, because it kind of emphasizes the use of the shadows, because that part of the building was in shadow. But then, you know, eventually after all of this peak fiction, they end up in the gymnasium where Megumi dodges these lorries that Reggie sends flying at him. Or sorry, I should call them trucks because most of my viewers are American. He summons these trucks and Megumi like dives under them. And again, the camera looks like it's handheld, bro. Like the cameraman low-key is on acid or something. Like he's just wobbling all about the place, which is really sick because, okay, cool. It was a well-animated shot, but having the camera like violently move really kind of brought that moment to life for me. I thought it looked really sick. And after saving some more time by doing these slightly egregious slow-mo shots, yes, I think my only real complaint of the episode is that the slow-mo was a little bit overdone in places. I mean, if you're gonna have Takaba and those kind of moments be long and drawn out for the sake of saving time, don't also overload it with slow-mo, but that's a minor inconvenience, alright? It's not a real complaint. After all that gets packed up though, it's time for the pinnacle of the episode, and somehow, in the space of only 3 episodes, we're getting 2 with domain expansion cliffhangers. because Megumi starts talking about how his domain is incomplete, can't be contained by a barrier, and as soon as he starts talking about barriers, Reggie suddenly looks shook. Now this is a moment that I think the anime did a really good job of portraying, that Reggie is in genuine disbelief that Megumi was about to unleash a domain expansion, because despite Reggie being very strong, it kind of emphasizes, you know, how much higher of a level of sorcerer you have to be to have something like a domain expansion, and you can see that expressed very clearly on Reggie's face, which was dope. So yeah, the music then kicks in, we're building the tension again. It kind of reminds me of when he says, oh, it's the Southern Cross to Carrara, and that kind of vroom music starts playing again to build tension, and then we get this great zoom out shot of Megumi actually expanding the domain, and then it's the best it's ever looked. Like, it looks good in season 1, it looks okay in season 2 in Dagon's domain, but here you've just got like this weird neon blue lightning effect with the core of the domain hanging above him. Like, it looks so sick, whereas before you kind of just see the shadow spill out, right? But this is a different level. It's beautiful. I love it. So, yeah, that is the episode. Again, I think my only complaint is, like, the time-saving moments being used in the Takaba section for comedic effect is completely fine. If anything, it's peak. It just made it funnier. And at the beginning of the episode, I don't care about seeing shots of the scenery because all of the art is so beautiful that I'll happily just, you know, sit there and watch it while listening to them yap. I think the only thing they could have maybe fixed up a bit was the slightly egregious slow-mo at times, but it's honestly not a big deal at all. Yeah, Takaba was the highlight. Megumi Loki going mid-diff and getting hands put on him by an NPC like Hari is just funny. I honestly do think that is just engagement bait from Goshizono. I don't have a problem with it because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I just find it hilarious because Megumi gets slandered enough, bro. He already has enough bad things going for him. We're gonna have people out here saying he was getting packed up by Hari. Let's not even go there. But yeah, now quickly before I end the video, I keep getting asked what's left of part 1. Are we going to see Hakari Kashimo? What's going on with part 2? When will it release? I'm going to go through that now. So if you don't want spoilers about what's coming next, leave the video. But next week, we're going to be finishing this fight and then starting Sendai Colony. There's no confirmation about whether episode 12 is 40 minutes or not. That is just a rumor, alright? There's no confirmation at all. It could be normal. I highly doubt they're going to split Sendai between part 1 and 2. What I think is more likely is we're going to get, you know, the first part of Sendai, so Druv and Kurorushi, will happen next episode, in episode 11, as well as Yuta's introduction. And then we'll do the rest of Sendai in episode 12 in isolation. Maybe it will be extended like the Maki episode, but I doubt it. And then that's the end of part 1, okay? So we have the Megumi fight, the Yuta fight, and then part 2 will be probably, I'd guess, between 6 and 10 months. We're gonna get, you know, Hakari Kashimo, the Yuki stuff, the Maki stuff, the Sukuna stuff, and potentially end the season with either Sukuna or Gojo. So that's where we're heading from now on. I don't have an official release date, guys. I don't know, but I was getting a lot of questions about that, so I just wanted to make that clear. Yeah, W episode. Yeah, solid like 8.5 or 8 out of 10 episode for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace.